Mind blown when I tell you we have seen the most narcissistic display that I think I have ever seen on 90 Day Fiancé history, let alone any of the spin-offs. We have definitely seen it today, cuz Jasmine has no shame. But we will get to that. Make sure you stick around. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support. Let's get right into it.
Reminds me of Papa Gino.
The first thing she does is she goes into, for one, she grabs a hat that's exactly Gino's. And for two, I don't buy this for a second that she would be in a Once Upon a Child shop. Nothing wrong with a Once Upon a Child shop. Nothing wrong with thrift stores and everything like that. Absolutely not. But Jasmine's bougie self would be in a thrift type store. I don't buy it for a second. And then when she walks in, the first thing she does is grab a hat that's just like one Gino would wear and references him. She is constantly trying to pit people in her life against each other. Now Matt's getting the brunt of it. It is no surprising at all. This starts the narcissistic nature of what we see with Jasmine. We already knew she was there, but it gets so much worse.
I am terrified of being a dad to a girl.
Okay, and you know what? That is perfectly reasonable. When you talk about guys, a lot of guys want a son to carry on their family name, whatever. You just want a little boy to be able to be with you, a little mini you, just like girls may want a little mini me of themselves. It doesn't always happen that way, and he even mentions that he knows it's a 50-50 shot. He doesn't know what he was thinking, but it's not as deep as Jasmine is making it. And trust me when I say he would be fine with a girl, and it appears he is fine with a girl now, but she is taking it to a whole nother level. And is referenced in some of these clips that we see with how she just completely tries to flip the argument, where it could have been simply, you reacted in a way that maybe kind of bothered me a little bit, let's talk about it, whatever, to you did X, Y, and Z, and now you're the worst person in the world. I kid you not, it gets that bad.
I don't know, the baby's gonna grow up a penis. And that's not gonna happen.
Well, at least she has a rudimentary understanding of biology. I will give her that much. But that is about the most I will give her. Probably for the rest of the time I know who Jasmine is.
My dad, the minute he knew I was a girl, he rejected me.
Okay.
And he disappeared out of my life. And the fact that you are doing exactly the same to my daughter really broke my heart.
Did she really just compare her dad walking out on her when she was 3 years old to Matt simply saying, I thought I was going to have a boy. I wanted a boy. Is she delusional? She is trying to equate her father literally leaving, going out for a pack of smokes and never coming back, to Matt, who is simply saying, I thought we were having a boy. What kind of narcissistic personality disorder, undiagnosed, probably actually diagnosed, but I don't know that for sure, so probably undiagnosed. How deep does it have to go for her to really be able to say something so delusional, to try to make someone look so bad that's going to be the father of your child by saying that you are as bad as the father that walked out on her? That is a whole nother level of crazy.
These men in my life are obsessed with having boys and looking at women like not worthy.
That is not true at all, not even a little bit. She's taking it to a whole nother level that isn't even the reality of the situation. And she's saying every man in her life looks at the girls like, oh, you know, I'm sorry that, I don't know if the father of her other children are not there, but I'm sorry you're dealing with that, Jasmine. I really am. But the fact that you decide to sleep with this person, knowing that you can potentially get pregnant, and then say, oh, wait a second, he's not worthy because he simply said, oh, I thought I was going to have a boy, I wanted a boy. You are an insane person, and you need serious mental help. Mental help needs to be the focus of whatever the hell you're doing, because you're never going to be a good person, never going to be a good friend, never going to be a good partner, never going to be a good wife, never going to be a good mom. None of that unless you get that in check.
If you don't prove to me that you're father material for my daughter...
Hold on a second. For one, if you don't prove your father material, well, he's material enough because he's there right now. And by the way, your daughter, it's both of your daughter. You may be carrying the child, but that's still both of your daughter. So again, you can have a conversation and say, I didn't like the way you reacted, maybe at best. But why don't you give a little grace here? Because you are not exactly the epitome of a good person here, Jasmine. You never have been, and quite frankly, I don't see why you ever will be. I find myself in this weird position of having to defend Matt because he's also the one that came in and agreed to be a part of this open marriage that just made everything fall to pieces. But at the same time, right now, he is not in the wrong. The best you can say is maybe his reaction, maybe wasn't the best time for it. That's it. Other than that, you can't prove he's not going to be a good dad. You can't prove he's not going to love that little girl. You can't prove that he is not going to be there in every step of the way, which he seems to have been at this point. So guess what? You were wrong on all levels.
I'm the one that was supposed to have a baby with her.
Well, I will say, this is the thing about Gino, is Gino, little education here. I'm going to have to give him some biology education. Gino, you have to have sex to have a baby. Didn't know if you knew that, but let me just educate you there, buddy. Now, that being said, I understand they had a lot of stuff going on in their relationship. I think some of his excuses were kind of crazy, but she was no epitome of, oh, poor me, I did everything correct. Of course not. So plenty of issues in the relationship, but she was the one that said she wasn't going to have kids right then, and now all of a sudden she gets pregnant by someone else. So sure, there's some frustrations there, but Gino definitely holds his own level of culpability with it.
You know I went to couples therapy with Jasmine, right?
I love how he keeps saying he went to couples therapy, but couples therapy was the last resort. Not much therapy going on there except for your hypnotherapist who decided to have y'all rage out the energy or something like that. Entertaining, but therapy it was not.
I'm crushed. I feel violated.
You feel violated? I mean, I could get when you think someone's someone that they're not, but damn, he had an interesting response, said, I loved her. I feel violated. I walked her down the aisle. I mean, anyone with two eyes could see that there was something more going on here, and she might have wanted something a little extra. Obviously, Gino had his own issues by jumping on a sugar daddy website, but let's just say they were both culpable in some level, and if his family couldn't see that she was not a good person, well, then they were just blinded by, I don't know what, blinded by the light, I guess.
Jasmine, adios. Have a good life.
So his closure is going to be writing some letter that he doesn't want to mail, that he doesn't want to email, that he's going to call her over the phone and read to her. That's going to give him the closure that he finally needs, not all of this craziness that's gone on over the past few years in y'all's volatile, toxic relationship. Yeah, okay, Gino, or it's just enough so y'all can have another episode to continue on this storyline because paycheck's gotta come, right?
This guy was just supposed to be having sex with me. We were not supposed to be on any... This was not supposed to happen.
Oh, he was just supposed to be having sex with you. This was not supposed to happen. What? Again, do you not know what happens when you have sex? This birth control is not 100%, even if you were using it. Obviously, you missed some things here and there, and this happened. And now you're saying he basically put you in this position to have a daughter who is going to be in the same position as you because Matt's going to walk out for cigarettes when you're 3 years old or something like that. She is the most delusional person I think we've ever come across. And she wants to say in social media and things like that, oh, not everything is as it seems. Look, they can edit the hell out of something, but they can't make you say that crap. You said that. You have said everything we've put out here. Now, they can put it together and make it sound worse than it is, but you still said things. You still compared him to your dad who left at 3 when he's still here right now. Even after finding out you're having a daughter, he is still there. Reaction? Fine. You don't have to be okay with the reaction, but it is not what you were saying it is, and you are a piece of garbage for acting like it is such. You can ruin people for saying things like they're a deadbeat dad when that's just not even the case.
You didn't buy anything for the baby.
This is everything that is Jasmine in one little ball. So she puts the stuff back, basically throws it at him, and then he puts it all back nicely, hangs it up, and comes out there, and she says, what, you didn't even buy anything? This is her trying to create fights. This is her trying to create more drama with him. This is what someone does when they're trying to destroy a relationship. These are the aspects of borderline peppered in there with extreme narcissism, because these relationships never last. You're dead set on having the attention on you while destroying every relationship around you, while being completely nervous and paranoid about absolutely everything. So she should be like a case study for mental health if you really believe all these things are true, or maybe she's just out for attention. Either way, she's got some issues.
Gino will be happy with having a baby, and
there it is again. And she is continuing to show the complete case case study in narcissism here. Now she brings up Gino. At least Gino would have done X, Y, and Z. Never mind the fact she's been talking about what a piece of garbage Gino is, but every time they're in an argument, it seems like Gino comes up to try to make the argument worse. I have to give Matt credit here. He remained calm, cool, and collected, didn't raise his voice, remained, and he had called her some names here and there after she called him names first, but overall remained very calm when I think everyone would have been like, if he started yelling at her in all of these moments, we'd be like, yeah, I get that. Yep, no problem there. That's Jasmine for you. I don't blame you. But he remained pretty calm, so I got to give him credit.
I thought that I had the worst dad in the world.
Dude.
Congratulations, Matt. You are worse than my dad.
Wow. And there it is. The epitome of narcissism. The epitome of the worst narcissistic behavior we have ever seen. Not only has she compared Matt to her dad, but now she has said, you are not only are you like my dad, but you are worse than my dad. What was his crime? Saying, man, I thought I was going to have a son, and then cracking some jokes. Again, maybe poor timing at best, but who cares? He's gonna end up loving the daughter. It doesn't matter. You can be expecting one thing and be like, man, I wanted X, Y, and Z. But guess what? You're gonna come around. 99% of people don't check out and stay out of these people's lives because they didn't have the gender they wanted. So she is losing her mind, and she just did a case study on narcissism. Congratulations, Jasmine. You will be in psychology classes for years to come.
Low-key, this is kind of sounding like the problem you were having with Gino, though. Like when you were screaming and yelling all the time, and then he wasn't wanting to sleep with you.
Yes, 100% Matt finally gets it. Now, I don't give Gino like a complete pass on that, but he finally, it's like it clicked in his head. He's like, this really seems like what was happening in the Gino relationship, and then he didn't want to sleep with you. Seems like something's there. Almost like Jasmine as at least part of the problem. Maybe she's not the whole problem, but she's at least part of the problem. And I love how he said that, because it wasn't even in a vengeful way. He's just like, oh, I got this is kind of weird. Seems what to be is happening, and I just need to mention that. Of course, she flies off the handle with that, but still hilarious.
So I am in the wrong. I am the bad person.
No.
Yes. No, I don't know why he didn't say, I don't know why he said no. Yes, you are in the wrong. You are the bad person. You, Jasmine, absolutely you. Finally, you're getting it. Only she's not really admitting it. And now she's putting on the waterworks because she's backed into a corner and realizes she has nothing to stand on because she sounds like a freaking lunatic.
I know it looks bad, but I'm not like that. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm not trying to be that person. I'm really not.
You're not being sexist at all. Not at all. It would be the same if a woman said, I really wanted a daughter. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it. And I have no doubt that woman would end up loving her son if a son was going to be there.
Why my own dad left when I was a kid and he wasn't around. And I'm sure it's not because it was easy.
Oh my gosh. And there it is. So not only is Jasmine saying all these things and acting like he's the worst dad possible, now it comes out that his dad wasn't around either. And she knows this. And so could it possibly be that he wanted a son to be able to be a better father to than his own dad? Possibly. I would say probably more than 90% of a chance that is at the very least an underlying issue with him. And oh, by the way, now that it's not there, when he simply said something when we were there, oh, now I'm going to have to get you to have me a son and everything like that, halfway joking, then she just completely disregarded everything, didn't act like, he had this history, it's all about her, and now here we are. But it comes out that she is just the one that is completely just not caring, doesn't care about anything when it comes to Matt or the father of her child. Shocker that we've gotten here, and shocker that it comes out that she is completely insensitive, uncaring, and just doesn't give a damn.
That love, it was conditional to the gender of the baby.
No, it wasn't. No, you're just lying. Like, Jasmine is literally just lying at this point. She's saying that, oh, he was all excited and wanted to, but the love was conditional on the gender. No, it wasn't. He never said, I'm not going to love that baby. He said, I wanted a son. I thought we were going to have a son. He convinced himself in his head that he was going to have a son. He is not going to not love that baby. And you saying that is just a blatant lie, a slander, and you just don't care. You don't care that kind of stuff, when it gets out into the world, people are going to treat him like garbage, acting like he's a deadbeat dad when it's not the reality. But you don't care, Jasmine, because it's not about you, right? You don't care.
I want to write.
Did he really start this letter off by saying my final goodbye exclamation point? Oh my gosh, I'm sure this is going to go over well.
This is going to give me some kind of closure.
Yeah, this isn't going to give you any kind of closure, none at all. You're going to write this letter, y'all are going to get into a big fight over the phone, and nothing is going to change, nothing is going to happen, setting up, once again, another conversation, because let's face it, we got to keep the storyline going, right?
Thing I can to her. And I don't mean her. I mean her over.
Don't worry, Gino. We know you mean F her over, not really F her, because your history says that. So that's pretty much understood.
75,952.
That is how much money he has spent on Jasmine because Gino is a stupid person. That is true. Like, for as much as he's supposed to be intelligent, I guess, you are really dumb for spending $75,000 on a person you met on a sugar daddy website or whatever it was. Although that's the point, I guess, because you know what you're getting into. You're going to pay for someone, basically. But that just makes you double stupid because you were willing. I mean, like, at least if someone gets one over on you and starts taking, I can be like, oh, well, you had a dumb lapse of judgment. No, you planned this. The reality is that Jasmine is her narcissistic self through and through. She shows it every time, but this was quite possibly the worst. And she has got to be one of the most, if not the most narcissistic personality on 90 Day Fiancé, which is why they keep her around. As frustrating as it is to most of us, they keep her around because she gets clicks and she gets people raging out at her because she has no problem with the attention and saying these crazy things. You know why she doesn't? Because she's not acting. This is who she truly is through and through. But we'll see what happens next time with them. And of course, Alex and Lauren and Yara and Jovi are headed off to a nice vacation.
I can't say no. You know me. I don't know how to say no.
Well, that is not a good trait. If someone asks you something you don't know how to say no, you should probably work on that, especially when it's a trip that's probably going to be filled with drama. Although they try to make it seem like they want to have this vacation, but how on earth are you going to be able to enjoy a vacation with the drama surrounding you?
If things go wrong on this trip, me and Elizabeth might never speak again.
You're already not talking and things are going to go wrong. Why do you think that things are going to be all hunky-dory? Even if they make some crazy makeup thing where they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to be friends again. It's all fake and not even real because they have to kind of have some resolution to it. The reality is, how are they going to be able to move forward with neither one of them being able to admit they were wrong? When in reality, it's mostly Elizabeth that was wrong in this instance, but she's not going to admit it. And if she does, it's going to be kind of surface deep just to get past a certain moment.
Stay cordial and careful.
Ooh, cordial and careful.
That sounds like a great vacation where the whole time you're going to spend saying cordial and careful. Now, cordial is one thing. You want to remain cordial regardless. I mean, that's the best thing to do. But careful, you want to be walking on eggshells that you're not going to say the right thing or that you're not going to get into some crazy argument or discussion that you don't want to have because you're on vacation. That is no way to live when you're on vacation.
I usually name my pimples after people, and there was one that just wouldn't go away, and I named her Elizabeth.
Wow. Now, do I personally care that that's what she stated? No, I don't, because I think Elizabeth's pretty trifling in a lot of instances. But the fact that you're claiming that you want to improve things, even if you don't know how that's going to happen, and then on camera, on a TV show, you know that someone like Elizabeth and Andre watch back, you're going to say, you name the pimple after Elizabeth because it's one that wouldn't go away, and you name your pimples after people you don't like. I mean, it's almost like you are also trying to continue the drama. This is why no one is innocent in this.
And I am just going to have to bite my tongue and enjoy the trip with Alex at least.
So you are going to have to bite your tongue because you're all going to be there, but you know you're all going to be there and you still decided to go on this trip to say, hey, me and Alex need a vacation. You know y'all could have taken a vacation separately. You didn't have to do this, except maybe in their contract it's like, hey, by the way, you got to sign up for this trip. This is part of it, which is very possible. But if it was an option, you did not have to do this. So why are you trying to act like this is something you had to do? Y'all could have gone somewhere else, go anywhere else, just you two. That would have been fun. But no, you decided on the drama.
It literally is like something out of a card or a movie.
Smells.
Yes, you know what this is, this place they went to? This looks like every Hallmark movie ever. And what's going to happen is they're going to have all this drama, then all of a sudden they're going to reignite their romance, and they're going to find it in some sort of flower shop or cookie shop that the owner is about to go out of business, and they're going to decide to buy that same shop so they can reinvigorate the town and make everything happily ever after again for an all-around Christmas. Do I watch these movies? No. But I am married, and so they're on the TV occasionally, if I catch a glance.
You literally seduced me into a bakery shop bathroom in Miami Beach.
Classy, and apparently that's how all relationships start these days.
This used to be the days.
Oh my God.
See the piercing or no?
He looks like a 90s or early 2000s rave kid that was on too much illicit substances.
This person is unrecognizable.
No, but she's beautiful.
She is beautiful now.
Damn! So this is the problem. This becomes a point of contention. They're talking about old pictures. Now, clearly Yara has had some work, and we all know how I feel about having work done. I think most of it's unnecessary. However, that being said, they're talking about old pictures, and he said she's unrecognizable. She was beautiful now, implying that she was not before, which is kind of harsh. But then he tries to say, no, I just said you look different. That's not what he said. So we got the tape there of seeing him actually saying she's beautiful now, implying she was not before, which, I don't know. It's hard to see her pictures. They showed a few, but at the same time, I don't think she needed any work. But that's beside the point. It's like, damn, Jovi, you want to go back to all your strippers you were hanging out with before? I guess so. And there's a picture there. Clearly she's had a nose job and had some things done, but she doesn't look bad. And I don't think she needed any work. I think but she keeps talking about how she dealt with all these things and all these issues. So naturally, plastic surgery, not the best decision to make when it's all built on mental health, because it's never going to stop. She's always going to get surgeries, and she doesn't even look bad there. But instead of dealing with the fact that she had some self-image issues, she just went and got surgery. So yeah, not a good decision. However, the way Jovi handled it, not good, and damn the harsh comments.
I am not miserable. I
You
just
are
said
an
that
unhappy person. You cannot even be happy on vacation.
I am very happy when you're not around.
Seems like a fun vacation they're about to have. They might be the ones that end up blowing everything up and not the other couples. So clearly the vacation is going to be interesting with Yara and Jovi fighting, and then potentially Alex and Lauren getting into it with Andre and Elizabeth. That should be interesting and fun, to say the least. Doesn't sound like a fun skiing vacation, I will say that. Now, Georgie and Darcy continue to work on their issues because no one is truthful and people are hiding things, naturally.
I need to take care of some stuff here, so...
So come back, take care of what you need to take care of. Oh, you're coming by yourself?
Yeah.
Interesting statement. So he's planning to come back by himself, which he mentioned nothing of it. So this leads into a spiral, of course, as they typically do, and they end up fighting, and it doesn't end well. But the question is, who's more wrong here? Georgie seems to be keeping a lot of things, but at the same time, Darcy overreacts to everything. Now, there needs to be open communication, needs to be honesty, so clearly Georgie's wrong in that. But Darcy overreacts to absolutely everything, and she is over the top with everything. Clearly, they have a lot of issues to work on in their relationship.
We still have taxes to pay, too.
$2 million.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So, still have taxes to pay. How are you putting money towards this? So, clearly financial issues, as he kind of makes it a little more known in just a minute.
It's like stressing for no reason and ruin the whole experience. And that's what is disappointing part from all this.
So I don't think she's necessarily overreacting for no reason, because when you find out the person you're with is hiding a bunch of things, it's obviously going to be something that bothers you. Now, that being said, the way she acts is a little over the top to everything, not just the hiding of things, but to everything. And then, of course, she runs to her sister, who gasses her up because they both gas each other up, and no one can really be level-headed. That becomes a big problem.
Obviously, it seems a little premeditated, like he was thinking and planning it for a while.
It was definitely premeditated, that's for sure. The question is, what was the psychology behind it? Why was it premeditated? What is he hiding? Is it simply because of your reaction? Which still wouldn't make it okay, because you can't really just be hiding things in your relationship. But is he really trying to hide a reason for he's coming back over there? These are all valid questions that need to be asked. But also, Darcy needs to evaluate her reactions to things and how she just takes things in general.
I don't have no money.
She said you don't have no money.
What you talking about, dude? Get over yourself.
I don't have zero money.
Really?
He said you don't have no money, and then he goes on to say you spend money on X, Y, and Z, all these things you spend money on. I think there's some truth to that. Now, maybe they're not dead broke, but at the same time, saying you don't have any money because you spend a bunch of money on all these things. They also talk about how they don't really own a place, they rent, and a lot of people rent. There's nothing wrong with renting, but when you make it seem like you have all this money and all these fancy clothes you wear, all these surgeries you get and all these things like that, but you don't even own a house, makes me think that your bank account is not as big as you try to portray it to be.
I have problem with sharing, especially when she reacts this way, but she never get it.
So she doesn't get the fact that you say he has problems sharing when she acts this way, but you don't get what she's saying when it comes to, hey, how can I trust you when you withhold things? Obviously, neither one of them are changing in a lot of aspects, so how are they going to make a relationship work? The best thing now would just be to break up and be done with it, because obviously neither one of them is willing to budge, although I think Darcy is a little more over the top and probably contributing a little bit more to the problem with the relationship. She has a track record of doing these kind of things, but Georgie is not innocent in the fact that he's not trying to communicate more either. Obviously, Georgie and Darcy are having some big problems, and I think they're headed to Breakupsville, but we will see how it ends on this season. If they're not already done already, they're probably on the way to being done, because this is nothing new for Darcy or Stacy, because her and Florian will probably be done before too long either. But this is just the nature of it. This is how they remain relevant. But moving on to Julia and Brandon, as of course they have problems too. They can't seem to be on the same page with communicating either.
The fact that Julia would blow up like that and just, I'm out of here, I'm going to New York by myself. Maybe she needs to go to New York by herself.
This is the problem. So she says, I'm taking my parents to New York, I'm going without you. But this is what they do. Brandon did the same thing. Neither one of them are in the right here, because they always just run away whenever they have some issues. They can't communicate. They can't, really come to terms with things. Julia wants everything done her way, but Brandon never really wants to think for himself and always wants to go to his parents. They can't really have a good relationship or good communication together, and that continues to be their problem. Until they figure out how to do that better, they're just going to keep running away when it seems convenient for them.
We love you. This will always be home.
And there's the mom just kind of weasel in there to say, you always got a home with us, so make sure you stay here if you need to. This is her way of kind of staying in there and being like, hey, come on, Brandon, come back home. You don't need her. Come on, mom's got you. Obviously, tons of drama happening. Obviously, craziness happening. We have the crazy narcissism of Jasmine with this 90-Day Fiancé episode, and it was an explosive one, because really, I have not seen that kind of level anywhere in 90 Day Fiancé. We've seen a lot of couples that have come through, some really bad ones too. So it's only going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better. So we will see how all that plays out. But make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends. I will see y'all next time.